Phishing and smishing are social engineering attacks designed to trick users into sharing sensitive personal information like usernames, passwords, and credit card details with attackers. Let's take a look at what these threats are and how they work. Phishing has been around since the 1990s, but it's still going strong. IBM Security X-Force reported that phishing was the top method of compromise in 2021. The most common phishing technique is to send a fraudulent email to a targeted user. The email is designed to look like it came from a trusted entity, and it will often appear urgent so the recipient will quickly open it. Typically, the email will contain a manipulated link that looks like it goes to a real website. If the user clicks the link, though, it goes to a forged website designed to look like the real thing. Once there, the target will usually be prompted to enter their username and password for the site. If they do, the attacker will now have their credentials for the real site. Depending on the site, this can turn into an immediate loss of information or money for the victim. In some cases, the phishing email won't have a link, it will have a malicious attachment. If the recipient clicks on the attachment, it will often attempt to install ransomware, which is another threat I cover in this course. One of the keys to a successful phishing attack is making the emails look like they came from trusted sources. So phishing attackers frequently co-opt trusted brands like Microsoft, Apple, Google, Chase, and Amazon. Phishing email subject lines often have a certain style. Here are examples of typical subject lines used in phishing emails. Your account will be locked. Important, please log in to your account to verify your info. And invoice due. Note how they sound urgent or at least important enough to not ignore. Spear phishing is a variety of phishing that customizes email attacks to specific users, hoping the illusion of familiarity will create more trust. Smishing has many of the same characteristics of phishing, but instead of sending fraudulent emails, the attackers send SMS texts to the victim's phone. Common smishing text messages often impersonate a bank with an urgent message about how your account has been locked due to suspicious activity, or a recent payment was made and the bank needs your confirmation. Then there's usually a link to a malicious site designed to steal your online banking credentials. Smishing scams can also include text messages about winning a prize that you have to redeem through a website. You should immediately be suspicious of getting anything for free through a text message. Another form of smishing includes text messages impersonating someone you work with, like your boss or the CEO of your company. Threat actors can easily find the company you work for and get your cell phone number to pull off this attack. They'll send a text message pretending to be your boss or CEO and ask you to help them with a task. The task often requires you to buy gift cards to give to employees or clients. If you buy the cards, the attackers will ask you to send them the codes, which will allow them to instantly extract the money off the cards. Because both phishing and smishing attacks are cheap, simple, and effective, we can expect that they will continue to be among the most common attacks on the cybersecurity threat landscape. While phishing may be one of the most common forms of attack on the cybersecurity threat landscape, there are straightforward ways to protect against it. Let's look at 5 steps you can take which can reduce your exposure to the threat of phishing. First, implement email filtering controls. Since phishing uses malicious emails, the better you get at blocking them, the more you'll be protecting yourself and your organization. Users can control emails at their inbox by flagging unwanted and suspicious emails as junk. Organizations can also block suspicious emails at the email server by blacklisting known malicious email servers and even blocking emails from entire countries, domains, or IP address ranges. Many email servers have additional controls designed to identify and block malicious emails. The next way to protect against phishing is to block access to fraudulent and malicious websites. This can be done at the user level by accessing the internet only with web browsers that show a warning if users attempt to go to a fraudulent site. Most modern browsers have security settings that can be configured to do this. Also, organizations can install firewalls or proxy servers that prevent users from accessing known bad websites. The third step you can take is to use a password manager. This is a digital safe that can generate and store strong and unique passwords for any site that needs one. That way you're not reusing the same passwords on different websites. So even if one of your passwords gets compromised in a phishing attack, it won't work anywhere else. Fourth is multi-factor authentication. This is a stronger form of authentication than just passwords. It requires a password plus at least a device you have or a biometric factor like a fingerprint. That way, even if the attacker gets your username and password, they can't log in without the other factor. Finally, we have security training. If users know not to open phishing emails and click on manipulated links, phishing wouldn't be such a serious problem. Teach users how to recognize phishing attacks. Explain why they should be suspicious of urgent emails and how to hover over links to see if they're legitimate or not. You can also conduct phishing simulations to test how many users might fall for an actual phishing attack. When it comes to smishing, the best way to protect against this threat is also with security training. Train users how to spot suspicious text messages. They should also be trained to never click on links in suspicious text messages, respond to suspicious text messages, or send money or make purchases based on text messages without confirming through some other method like a phone call directly to a person or company. If you get repeated unwanted text messages from the same number, those can be blocked in the phone settings for both iPhone and Android mobile phones. Also, check to see if your smartphone has other settings options to filter or block texts from unknown senders. Implementing these and the other controls I covered in this video will help protect you and your organization from the threats of phishing and smishing.